Asia, the youth of this country, Boteman Sport Complex, and at some venues across the 16 regions in our country. Into we Accra, everywhere, there were youth gathered in other 15 regions across the country. No munyina 80. Some very, very interesting point. And they said, summarize it, what happened there. Jaco, it mame slides no one after the other. So, and where something the Joy News Research Desk put it together on anyway highlights of what happened, and so far some of the promises are the NPP through Dr. Bawumia make it to the Ghanaian youth. And in the first slide, a population aged between 20 to 34 years in Ghana, where data from the Ghana Statistical Service. Join me or YouTube, any Facebook, Nebra Beshe, 7.9 million Ghanaians CCR and a falling within the ages of 20 and 34 years. It is a massive number. Our political party, be worth its salt, would want to pay special attention to this voter population. 7.9 million, 20 to 34 years. Into a big deal. Fortunately for us, no, ye youth mienu abeka yensa wahan falling within this bracket. Now the new patriotic party, at least from the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia eka no, now omo priority areas for the youth na miensa: skills, education, and jobs. Skills, education, and jobs. And known as Obo Bawumia speech ne tofa the thematic areas no in that speech no. In ye, and he would move to the next slide. Nothing, share the other information. Joy News Research Desk, they put it together. It is also the NPP one job creation goal. Into the envisage say by the time Dr. Bawumia be free akunyasono, now Oma create 4 million jobs. 4 million jobs for the Ghanaian youth. So far, based on figures of Muadi Tujano, on which they over the past 8 years now, Oma create 2.6 million jobs. Abeye topic for discussion and the miracles. So I would ask him more about that particular figure. But going forward, they expect to create some 4 million jobs, at least from Nsema Dr. Bawumia Ekayano. But Sawasha 2024 Afro Barometer report now the top 5 most important issues for Ghanaians. Ghana for Tremua, Nyoma Enum, Ahia Wompa going into this election. Number 1, unemployment. Inti Jumasem is still a massive issue, 41%. Infrastructure, especially roads, 38%. Number 2. Number 3, health. 33%, education 28%, which is number 4, and on number 5, economic management, and also 25%. Into top 5 most important issues for Ghanaians going into this election, where according to the 2024 Afro Barometer report, unemployment is still number 1. Oba YouTube, Facebook, Ubehu. Inti Dr. Bawumia in his speech to the youth on Sunday, make a firm commitment to the Ghanaian people. Or say, I make a firm commitment to sustain and expand the rebounding economy to address the problem of unemployment. It was a definite commitment I want to make it to the Ghanaian youth. As to say, are convinced by this statement, no, or more ebetrain. But this is the firm commitment about me making in his speech. What do you also think? Who I would say a firm commitment to sustain and expand the rebounding economy to address the problem of unemployment in Ghana. And let's move to the next slide. Now, okay, to the next slide. NPP promises, top promises or more edema the youth of Ghana, at least from the statement about me editorial. Number 1, free tertiary education for persons with disabilities, and no also buy Ghana first. One major policy Bawumia through that local jobs would be created. Number 3, a tax amnesty and flat tax rate in the for youth going into entrepreneurship and all of that stand the chance of also benefiting from this policy. Rental assistance scheme for low income workers, and number 4, top promises for the youth according to the NPP. Number 5, abolish e-levy. And also one major policy or more ataute. Next slide. Okay, into number 6, the credit score system. And also one promise I'm gonna make it to the Ghanaian youth. Number 7, $100 million fintech fund for youth. I war in the fintech space. Create apps and all of those things. You can also source from this fund. And a SME bank, one major promise in so no duties on mobile phones and national service exemptions. You've heard Baumia say under him national service enye compulsory in the youth no epa and obe choose to obey national service and I say onya. And the top promises for the youth no top 10 are a sample here in I don't know say miracles or other ones or the become but these are the top 10 the Joy News Research Desk it me a sample here. Next slide. Okay, into the job creation claims, and I've made this point already. So far, we created 2.6 million jobs. A number man for Bibrina interrogate into miracles. Was the medical can would put it to him. Nafe Yashe where they got this number from and the source especially of this 2.6 million jobs claimer Omode Atuja. And let's see the next slide. Okay, into a year from the almost jobs created. Now, when we dig it further, you say on the performance tracker from 2017 to 2023, jobs created on the performance tracker. Now, I say 2.08 million. 2.08 million. August 2024 manifesto of the NPP in the Osha kind the manifesto said from 2017 to 2024 as at the time I know more launch manifesto no Omo created 2.3 million jobs and the Youth Connect event na Baumia address last Sunday no and also can say Omo created 2.6 million jobs into emudia hen and yemfa will put all those questions no to miracles 2.08 million 2.3 million 2.6 million which is which komoa yebeshena yetimi ebusa where final slide ana. Okay, let's move fast. Move fast. In the way, NPP's track record on supporting local, the production of local goods. Baumia buy Ghana first. In the 2016, 2020, 2024, you realize in all of their manifestos, no, this pledge, no, 2016, they will promote made in Ghana goods. 2020, support made in Ghana product. And at 2024, introduced by Ghana First policy. Into all the other manifestos, because 2016 they won power. Omutimi promise we are na 2020 were they able to do it? Why are they still promising it now? And I say a case of ye penti a home for Freddie abetre Ghana for an answer this is what we found from all the 3 manifestos ye kahon asemi. Next slide. Into one other policy, Dr. Baumia touted, and I think I mentioned it in their promises for the youth, no, the issue of tax amnesty. Because tax amnesty would mean, say, a car, and when say about tax, your principal, no, and your friend says, when to me entry, say, are there GRA, ever final, and the damages, or more. What tax liabilities or muntriano and a GRA the bone into Ubeshano companies be brave. What happens now? They say GRA to make us okay. Oh dear, fine and I was anka utriano, yeah, the acha until Branebra betria principal no. But I say what liabilities, tax liabilities to GRA. Ghana for new men into the bassa and say tax amnesty eba. Now Baumia say oh clean slate no so now you start here fresh. A car at Daho as at 2023. A car at Daho amount for Eddie GRA car a 5.3 billion Ghana cedis. 5.3 billion Ghana. Where the impact of tax amnesty on revenue in the GRA's total tax debt as at 2023. 2024 the crime account 2023 a 5.3 billion Ghana cedis. And this how much government will lose. Say omu implement our tax amnesty way. How will this gap be be filled. And they are some was here the home come about. This is one very, very major policy the Bawumia administration are promising. And e-levy, lost revenue from e-levy 2025 to 2027, because we've been told say policy no end to me and me meet projections are now buying extra time on the policy buy. In the lost revenue, you buy 8.27 billion Ghana cedis. Sebase almost crappy free hokra. This is how much government would be losing. And they don't see one thing I was here to me and how this gap would be filled. That's the end of the slide. It's where a bit of the data the Joy News Research Desk etimi put it together just to set the basis no for yen komo ye babidi and area to join us o adwen cha obetimi e de abrain na yakan ama 0248 443 523 na yentie de wonso wo e de emayen. There is also a statement making round from the Ghana Freedom Party, and because Medi too just say the running mate to Ekuyadonko filing a nomination successfully say or replace Ekuyadonko. That process no was done at the Electoral Commission, but moment after that there another statement Abba, and that statement seems to be making rounds. Would read that statement for you and Sana. Yeah, sorry, fridge media. So, but my member studio Hana miracles Akwaba. Then is Akwaba better saying Bibi Aboko.
Oh, I don't know do me.
Ahwadin
you see the Ahwadin inside as someone too. So walk for by one. Was it to be starting Boko? Yeah, take a last 100 and I say, I want to start giddy.
Well, maintaining momentum now. Now, Obi found. Yeah,
so I do last stretch and end there.
I want the main thing. Very well.
And for one, pay 5,000.
5,000.
We all go around 10 times 20,000.
The last one that was almost split.
Wow. Barely 33 days
to go to elections 2024.
African momentum
massive. And then we are privileged to be joined by two Ghanaian youth. Okay, the ladies first. And yes, introduce yourself. Udin the same.
Your friend me Adawedia Akwete.
Adawedia Akwete.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You are a Ghan.
Yes.
Oh, a Ghan.
Yeah.
From which part of Accra? From Teshi. Yeah. Oh, okay. And where do you feel saying this year?
Maybe
22.
Yeah.
Okay, within that range.
Yeah, the range.
Very well. And you fall in the bracket. Was that a mad your age? Your moon shut down fan to just a man shut down. Within that range. Very well. And thank you for joining us. We a student and now we are Juma.
Me a student.
We a student. Okay, very well. Mema yenua beman so be kan yen ho ewa ha. Anti down where di etre.
Oh, you me chow for.
It's for
me Benjamin Mellish Japan.
Benjamin Mellish Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Pepe.
Where did you fear saying?
I didn't fear by 27 years. Just
27.
Falling within the
the youth range, no?
Yes,
wow.
Yes.
But also, we a student.
Yeah, I'm a student.
Okay. Ain't minimum say we a person with disability? Can you confirm?
I can cry. Say it's a man who represents two interests.
Yes.
Me a youth, and I'm a person with disability.
Person with disability.
Me one day, me tell say me a visually impaired.
Visually impaired.
Yeah, that's so.
Oh, okay. And what could school I could draw a hint this year?
This year, me no can say. Sending Yame or Doma this year. Is a lawyer, and I'm no say.
Yes.
You didn't want to money Morgana School of Law. Yame Doma next year.
Same time now. I call you to the bar.
I'm hoping I'll be called to the bar. Yes,
wow.
It's in Ghana School of Law.
Ghana School of Law. Or part 2.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's a suit me Baba Kanye. Yeah, it's a very important question. Miracles, dear me person, yeah, and it's even before I come with many questions based on researcher me show CCMI TF1. I would give youth the opportunity. Na ma show more expectations. Okay, into yeah. First time, I think I'll be about for the first time. Good. Into Neoma Bena Oshe. I don't know where decide you'll be able to man. Have you decided?
No.
Undecided as you sit here. You were 33 days to go to elections. you will decide. I know, baby, as you see, I won't decide. But Nyoma Ben, the will decide you be a walk to a barman.
So, but you meet me a cabro.
Oh, yeah, bet me, dear friend. Yeah.
And first of all, me just say, bet me I deal with the issue of unemployment.
Unemployment, okay.
So first off, current governments normally say, created 2.6 million jobs.
Sure.
But youth no be brave say, in maybe say, a then policy ben Dr. Bahomia debe. What will he do, to address the issue of unemployment? Yeah,
that's your first question.
Yeah, that's my
and
first question.
It's a major thing you consider on who to vote for.
Yes.
Good. Do you have any other questions? Maybe a Joe questions now. No way.
Okay.
And that's your first question. Number two.
My second question has to do with the betting tax. You know, a lot of young guys and ladies bet a lot, and with the tax. They are very unhappy with that. So we'd like to know what Dr. Baomia's government to do when voted into power.
Okay.
And
on the issue of betting tax.
Yeah.
Okay.
My third one has to do with entrepreneurship. See, most of the young people have ventured into entrepreneurship because of the high unemployment rate.
Yes.
So we'd like to know what policies Baomia's government will put into place when they are voted into power. Yes.
To create entrepreneurship opportunities for the youth.
More people too.
Okay.
Yes. And then I think the high cost of data. You know, most young people are online all the time, advertising their products, buying stuff online. We'd like to know if the price of data, would be reduced.
Okay.
Yes.
Under Baumia.
Yes.
Very well. And maybe we'll take this 4 and then I'll come back. All right. In the emphasis, I'll 4 way first. Miracles. And straight ahead, 4 questions. This is a first-time voter on Toa Bada, still undecided as to who to vote for. The issues are all considered. What do you have to tell her?
I think the issues are not completely aligned with the millions of young people across the country.
Okay.
And they are how. In fact, Obekaya, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the campaign, one key feature, a platform of friend of the Youth Connect platform. And see, everywhere we go, no matter the engagement we do, he spends time with the youth, 2 to 4 hours. Amongst all the aspirants and our candidates, he's the one who is most equipped with the challenges and even the aspirations of the young people across the country. And center in this conversation on unemployment. Obi, it is a matter of agency because we acquire a ban we have 2.6 billion jobs, and yet we still have millions of young people who need a lot more work to do. It tells you that we need to really speed up the process.
Okay.
And at the point, we say the fact is that it created 2.6 million jobs did not mean say all of a sudden the unemployment situation in the country will be wiped away. In fact, what we should rather be asking ourselves, it tells you how deep the challenge was. Because if after even creating 2.6 million jobs, you still have millions of young people looking for jobs, it tells you how bad the situation was. And so Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia talks about accelerating the process. And he believes now the next level is to push it from 2.6 and add some 4 million jobs because of a lot of the fundamentals that he's put in place. Don't forget, directly connected with jobs creation is even the skill sets that the young people have. You may have a lot of job opportunities, but you can have a population that are not ready for it. In fact, there's a video of the former president actually making this point in an interview where he was making the point that we were churning out students and graduates who were not ready for the job market. And so it's important that we admit, we have been able to, in the past 8 years, churn out a lot more ready for job market Ghanaians. So I just it's analysis, and I'm glad I'm in the midst of law students. It makes the conversation very level, headed. Ubi who catch us saying, I don't know, unemployment rate is 7%, and Afiako 40%. It is possible. You can have an unemployment rate at 6%, maybe 10 years ago, and create maybe even 4 million jobs, and still come 10 years later and have 20% unemployment rate. Why? Because the number of people who are moving into the ready to work bracket could be higher than it was in the past. And you are also churning out a lot more young people are now omako school almost here in San Rejuma you ready TVET before I buy with but not TVET was doing just about 46,000 entire population technical vocational education training. Today technical vocational education training is about 146,000. What it means is that some 100,000 people who probably in the past were not ready for the job market and not ready. So those numbers for me are very, very important, and it tells us that we still have a lot to do as a country to open up our economy in a way that the between and the public brain. Now, this is what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is saying. He admits in every conversation on Mebune Nation, he say a creating human. But the idea so far, nature say the only way between more numbers getting into the workforce is a true private sector. Because teacher for the doors and a bit next for the door percent a bit. We're talking about millions of unemployed people. Teacher for him a bit next one a bit soldier for him a bit we need to stimulate private sector. Then find the public way. I give you a very quick example. So Chicken Man Pizza Man, and he's like our poster example. This is a young man who had dreams. Anna Oye ni pizza ewo ni room KNUST okay. Where we school or pay support to me at the ABN Juba. And then Abai had the National Entrepreneur Innovation Program. And then
NEIP presidential pitch no.
And Abai supported him. Today look at him. Pizza Man Chicken Man is in like every neighborhood. Yeah. Now when we talk about the jobs, this is an example, and this is what I'm going to say. So every single employee Pizza Man Chicken Man has is part of the jobs that have been created in that 2.6 million. So if you want to understand how we come up with those numbers, that's what it means. So Pizza Man Chicken Man has created so much branches as a result of the support that government gave him. And today, he's probably one of the youngest, largest employer you can find in the capital and even across the country. And see, Pizza Man Chicken Man is one of the 138,000 beneficiaries of NEIP. He's just one. And yet, look at the number of jobs he has created as a result of that support. So when government is now showing working for jobs created, it's not going to count Pizza Man as one employment. You are going to count all the employees under Pizza Man as the jobs that have been created as a result of government's intervention. You get what I'm saying? And so if NEIP alone since 2017 till now, in fact this data is even as of 2023, has supported 138,000, and one of them is Pizza Man. You can imagine the rest of the people. And you watch the presidential pitch all the time. You see government supporting them with 200,000, 300,000, 1 million, and they are doing amazing things. I have one in my area, tropical growers. I think I've shown them here before. Young people who are using hydroponics to grow vegetables, which they sell to some of the mega shops you have in Accra, and they're employing people. I have shoe fabric in my constituency. This sandals that I'm wearing is actually manufactured by young people in my area. Now, only one person got support through government's 1D, 1F initiative. And yet, that person has employed close to about 300 people in that factory. So those numbers are real. They are not numbers that you can just get up one day and just manufacture. The numbers are numbers that are very real. And the thing that this government has done, and done right, is to track the interventions that government is giving and how it's affecting the lives of people.
But when you need to say, because you need proper labor statistics, no, in the source of such data, no, mostly data thrown out by the political elite. No, hold on. In the source, no, you'd mention SNET. But when him say SNET will not give you that very accurate labor data, and as statistics are open. And that's how come maybe from slides I show say we share from the manifesto launch to Sunday way event, the number of jobs created keeps changing.
Yeah, because but it's increasing, it's not decreasing.
Yes, it is increasing.
Yes, but of course, but it's from, you quoted the first one from 2022.
Yes.
Then the second one is 2023.
Yes.
And the next one is 2024. You don't expect it to be started.
Yeah, but you are not showing it. For example, so from 2023 figure and 2024 figure, the source of sa figure na here.
But I've just given you a classic example with Chicken Man, Pizza Man. This is a tropical growers.
Yes.
So you can see these are people who are actually working. Now don't forget, these people receive direct intervention from government. So we have a way that we interact and deal with them to know what is happening with them. Government has a tracker on all of these people, and trust me, it's not only NEIP that government is tracking. Government is tracking the 400. Government are buying a tracking, are buying almost about 438 beneficiaries. Are buying support through the Ghana Entrepreneurial Agency.
Yes.
So that's about 438,000. And we're not talking about 438,000 employment. 438,000 entrepreneurs.
Yes.
DACF, Digital Assembly Common Fund. persons with disability fund. I was a municipal chief executive, and I can tell you, say this government, and the only government since a DAC of buyer supporting PWD, it decided say, listen, yeah, my tabletop cash to persons with disability. You know what we do? We are setting up entrepreneurs. Inti obi wo hoso be so your cold store. Me man crofo be 50 containers. E stock him on some fonton ade. O far because of a person with disability inti no afa nipa mienu some munye adwuma won the shop no ma no. Say me quite say. And these are numbers that we are tracking. So it's not like it's in vacuum and it's in space. But you see, that doesn't change the fact that there are millions of young people who need jobs. So I just say, so nobody can get up and say, so because we created 2.6 million jobs in unemployment score, it won't go. NDC created 600,000 jobs. That's actually what they reported, 600,000 jobs. It doesn't mean say unemployment will be gone at that time, but the fact is that you have millions of people between 2017 to 2024. About 5.7 million young people have gone through secondary education. Just imagine. 5.7. So let's just assume that after the 5.7, even 4.7 million of them, okay, are moving to the next level, tertiary, any form of tertiary. These are people who are moving straight away within a space of 8 years and getting ready for the job market. So it's a big deal. The unemployment situation is a big deal. It means that this country, at all point in time, within every 10-year space, should be creating employment space for close to about 6-7 million people before we can say we have a 0% unemployment. So that is a very serious situation, and that is why we need a leader that can sit down and look at the situation and say, how do we deal with this? That in spite of creating so much jobs, we still have millions of people looking for jobs, and that's where Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia comes in. Instead of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia come on in Bebu ni di nyina no, on be jina on menimu ya homa so on ka say ma solve mu problems nyina mamo. Nemo say, listen, yeah, how no, a dozen, but a quite say, na mimi gidi say, ye koye nim to me afaso. Critical at the center of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's plan is to create a lot more entrepreneurs. Because you see, about to be boa, it creates a lot more entrepreneurs, businessmen. It is a faster way to absorb the ready to work young people in the country than trying to create the jobs directly yourself. So I gave you the example of Pizza Man, Chicken Man. If government decides so one can say criticize you may not go to but because you support one person, that person is now employing thousands of young people, and that is what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's focus is on. Until now, what kind
Asempa FM
yes policies now, it is geared towards helping to stimulate the business side of the country to get these businesses to have some freedom to expand, or more expand here. Then they can now produce more, and now they would have a reason to do what. To employ more. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia also speaks about the fact that we need to build the skill set of the young people. Critical is the TVET training, and then the TVET training is no longer the technical vocational training anymore. So we ra auto mechanic for workshopper. It is a work Toyota na Japan Motors for simulation center. Very modern tools. Why? Because on the other side of the equation, are buying any of these automobile companies in Yankita, as we speak, 11 automobile companies and Eguso almost setting up in this country. Obi today, there are cars on this street that are assembled in this country. But early days to build that kind of automobile industry, you can do it in 4 or 5 years. But the government has shown where can say I started. Now you have to be ready on the other side. Make sure that your HR, your human resource is getting ready. And that's why government is investing so much in TVET. Unprecedented investment in that side. Say na be omu school now quickly ometumi baby akwa de akwa kwese. Nti Japan Motors, Toyota Ghana, omne Legon ne ho technical invest akwa into partnership. Onam Westlands.
Yeah, but Toyota for SC, University of Ghana.
It's a very integrated plan. And I buy air planning. But these things obi Eyade bia ese oto boss na odwe won na ohihye ni yanse wotumi nya ho suso so ade ba ko nti na yete ya yeguso kan employment situation is obi the fundamentals na ese aban bia ba oye no aban bia ba odwane free ho, and it's because of the fear that if you decide to spend all your time in these kind of sectors, by the time your election is due you have nothing to show. Why? Because these things take time. So you want to formalize an economy, you cannot formalize an economy within 4 years and see results. So you can't come to us in 4 years, now make a change and say, the Ghana card Abremo. What is the impact of Ghana card? So once you are doing all of these things, it's a seller who show working in Kakrakra, who show working in Kakrakra. But the ultimate effect of what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has done for this country in terms of building the fundamentals, Obi, we are going to see it in about 10 years from now. Because on my war, yeah, budget is revenue and expenditure. So first of all, you have to even know baby how you do usika.
Yes.
Who we are, you have to know baby how best spend usika. But now you yeah blindly. And one say sorry, see a basic hospital say, your bay road say without any data. This government came and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said, you know what? Let's first of all identify our properties. That is the national addressing system. Before Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia brought this national addressing system, who knew what it was to talk about GPS? We're able to identify every single location. Today in Ghana, there is nowhere you are. You have to be for GPS in your day.
But I run a article has said on only feed in a nyejuma.
On any fear in your
Yeah, or say the address in a nyejuma.
Oh, I mean, I'm running a chance in the use. It be an use because ene Ghana ha. In fact, forest mukra na se send GPS. So what drive here robeba, ufa motorbike robeba, ufa bicycle unantia. It gives you the option. It be a nimna onim use. But I mean, everybody needs to learn some of these things. Afterwards, we have to now identify the human beings. After identifying the properties, and that's what brought the Ghana card thing. See, Obi, Ghana card is a big deal. It's not just an ID card. It is the basis for which this country is going to leap into the future. The kind of Ghana card that Ghana has, very few countries have it. Very, very few countries have it. So today, we can now build a budget and plan for our people, knowing very well that she is in the Ghana Law School. Oko Ghana Law School. In 3 years or 4 years, she will be done. She's going to become a lawyer. How are we planning for her? That is something that we're missing on. So this formalization of the economy that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been concentrating on, it's not a sexy area. It's not an attractive place that we a government that you'd want to venture into. And that is why when you pay close attention, all government before now, we're only interested in, I've built 2 schools, I've built 2 roads, I've built 2 toilets, vote for me. This is the first time we are talking about the real hardcore soft issues where people can now connect and say, because of Sanyama, we are there to acquire Wimuntino. This is the results that I'm expecting. One district, one factory, one of the mainstays of this government. And I speak to my young colleagues here, my friends here, that listen, this country has a history. We cannot go into this ballot without looking at the history. Otherwise, we'll take wrong decisions. The reason why we are going to vote on December 7th is because we are going to make a choice. So we must run a comparative analysis on what we have. It may not be 100% for everybody, but we surely have to make a choice. See, this country used to have a strong industrial base before 1988. In 1988, the NDC government, then PNDC, started selling off all state assets. Now, when they got to 1992,
Asempa
they realized that they had sold a lot of these state factories without any legal framework. So in 1992, they rushed back to parliament. You are lawyers. Now, what they did was that they passed a law called the Divestiture Implementation Act. What that sought to do was to simply sell off state factories. Now, strategically, they have to make sure that that law is taking retrospective effect, so that all the things they did between 1988 and 1992, I don't have any problem with that. Honestly speaking, every leader have their own plans and aspirations. Maybe at the time, in their minds, that's the best of decisions. But I think it was a poor decision. It was a poor decision because at that time, government, any private sector could have partnered to ensure that these factories are allowed to live and grow. They sold these factories like Chupa Chups. There are churches around Jowulu and Tema that are running in factories that used to produce corned beef, sardines, and tinned tomatoes and what have you. This country, near producing car tie, assemble cars, glass. We're doing almost everything in this country. But you see, that base was wiped out. What it meant is that for this country to be able to build an industrial base, it's not just an issue of you are building from the base. You have to fill a hole. For the hole to come to a certain level, so what you're saying, then you can build from there. And that is why I am begging every young person in this country, say, please, let's stick together. Moment my misses our opportunity way. Because the fact is, say, apart from this government, no government since 1992, and I did deliberate policy to rebuild our industrial base. That is fact. It may not be as flamboyant as Nankeyepe, but no can say 320 factories, 169 are operational. They are kind of ongoing. Mimi area, my factory back. Before now, we never had even one. So baby steps. But Okotwaba, Nipa 13. Bako party, Omobaye no ton factory is 300. Bako party, Omobaye no was started factory 320. Why 169?
Asempa FM.
They are out was to see an onye they are open in our you. No credit on any in our but choices now one. choices now one a better option because our show working kakra, and that's what we are talking about. There was a poultry farm called Dako Farms. It was one of the most popular poultry farms in Ghana. I'm sure you've heard it before.
Yeah.
Dako Farms was one of the most popular poultry farms in Ghana. It collapsed here for over 20 years. As we speak, Dako Farms is operational through the 1D 1F policy. And today, the KFC that you ate today or maybe this week, trust me, the chicken is likely coming from Dako Farms. I tell you what, Coca-Cola roundabout Spintex, you have Casapreco there. Casapreco used to operate from only Coca-Cola Spintex. But government said Casapreco, you're employing a lot of people at the Spintex and Accra area. Say, now your support, your certain incentives are. Ubet me explain. Say I will make me be crowd Kumasi Ashanti region. Abani say okay, we'll support you to 1D 1F. Today, Oko Ashanti region. There's also a plant there for Casapreco. What is it? What is it doing? It is employing people.
Asempa FM.
Vote for him. Let him build on this and upgrade this 1D 1F initiative.
Okay.
The good thing is that it's all started policy. Ube got through challenges. Ube say baby we baby you learn from it and then you improve. It is better for you to learn the one who started it. Nipa no share no no mo to so na baby a enko ye no miem no improve ya better than say obeto atwene kra. Government Dr. Mahmoud Bamia is also talking about ensuring say you best stimulate demand. Now credit scoring system now okan 17. This is simply what it means. What it means is that TSCA e bia ye adwuma bosumi bia ye 1,000 Ghana cedis. Ye pese ye talk onwa ketu bi we dey mu. And
would that be a response to the question on entrepreneurship, opportunities, and jobs?
Yes, almost everything I'm saying now. Yeah. So, demand now in Crawford, Unya and Cabeta Akunya, about 1,000 Ghana cedis. Akunya near 2,500. Bosumi be able to be a
Asempa FM.
But you need 5 months as well to be your 500 savings, you know. Now they're Kotakunya. But with a proper credit rating, credit scoring system, like it happens all over the world. But we are going to talk on your name. Now what to so ene? Now yatete won kakra. It is how savings now train 5 months as our kotono. But to be at the end of today, and then 5 months now you would have been waiting. No, rather you use it to pay. That is why our colleagues will travel to the UK and the US. Then they'll call you a year later and say we bought a house, we bought a car. They haven't paid with cash. They've actually bought it and they are paying in bets. Ghana, we don't have it because you need composite credit scoring system. It to me, I identify your transactions in to give us the rating. With this composite system that Dr. Mahmoud Bamia is launching on Thursday, even students who are not working will have a credit score. You know why? Because Obi who was school, Oma send will be a 500 Ghana cedis a month. Oko order rice, equal for her. Now koto rice. So base, you know. Oko rice. Udu mumo betia. Into 500 now the month they move be a 50 cedis at all rice. So I just say, who the move 20 to say what on so now month in the best one account 300 cedis. Now my say no 500 when you're 800. It is all building on your credit score. So every crown when you're worker, we are student. But because mobile money is connected to the credit scoring system, you will still have a credit score that will still get you access to certain things and then even as a student. Because students do have money 500. If your person to laptop could be this year, you want to sika boom and fanto. But with the credit scoring system, even though you're not working, you still have a credit score that can qualify you to get a laptop. Then you'll be paying small based on that transaction now with your mobile money and also no. And what does they say? My business is a lot of demand right now because a lot of people can now go and buy things and pay small. Now when they are getting a lot of demand, what happens? They will have to expand and produce more. And if they have to expand and produce more, what happens? They would have to employ more people. So a very integrated system and plan that Dr. Mahmoud Bamia is talking about. The flat rate system, the tax reforms, the tax amnesty, nina a geared towards ensuring that businesses have freedom kakra. No more to be there concentrating on my juma. Sikana e bimpoa and kadoko tuya wo tax arrears na unje no. Obetumi ayden are reinvested into the business. Now why expand it or setting up SME bank. About 80% of businesses in Ghana are SMEs. 80%. Now, between 80 to 90% of all people working are working for SMEs. Obi, nipa kakrebi companies kakrebi na falling in 10% omo multi-mega companies. But Ghana, SMEs are from between 80 to 90%. And all of us working in Ghana, about 80 to 90% of us also work in SMEs. Now the man says, let me set up an SME bank. Just like we have ADB supporting Agric. So that because SMEs draws one money, you bet to me focus support for SMEs. That's how SMEs here to me.
And the SMEs no would include businesses are no kase youth ne turn your online Instagram.
The Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok CEOs, they are a lot. Of part of Instagram, every young girl who CEO, and they are a lot. And Obi, they are doing fantastically well. Obi, I'm telling you, that the amount of transaction happening on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok today, you have no idea. And why are we able to do this? We're able to do this because some of the things Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has done. Mobile money interoperability.
Asempa FM.
Today, you can push all the payment that have been made to you. Payment and comfort on your mobile money. You're the mawa about 5. No, we're pushing in there for mobile money. So now they're quarter car bank, GCB, Stanchart account. You don't even have to struggle with it. And then, Obi, our MTN now, Vodafone. And when you ask about Nantia, baby, say, hey, maybe answer this come on or telephone also. Now we try our whether or you sue MTN or Vodafone, it doesn't matter. So on this kind of the mobile money so be or telephone so no one chase in the bank account not that the mobile money so no one send the amount. That's what the time Mahmoud Bawumia says. Every Ghanaian has a bank account. That is fact. Unless you don't have a mobile money wallet. But once you have a mobile money wallet, you have a bank account. Because technically you can
you have an account, not necessarily a bank account.
Yes, you have an account. And today even the banks are using short codes to open bank accounts.
Sure.
I mean, I don't want to mention some of the banks because, but you just have to enter star something, and you enter your bank, your Ghana card details, and it's putting all your details, and you are getting your bank account. So, guys, we are very far away from where we want to get to. But the fact is that we have to make a choice on 7 December about jobs. Jobs. And that's why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the only candidate that spent time and said, let me spend the whole evening with the young people to talk about jobs. He's passionate about it. This is his manifesto. I'll give you a copy. 90% of this manifesto is about jobs. He's not a perfect man. He's not a man without blemish. On here will be a information. But I will find a document now for all the 12 candidates documenter. Trust me. Ube say it makes a lot of sense because they are connected to each other. But say and again, Obi, I'll make this point quickly. You see, the 22s, 23s, 24s, the problem Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is facing is the time the options now ballot paper they were very young. And that is why every time I have an opportunity to converse with my young people, I said, please, let's read. Let's not be hoodwinked. Yememo beyond that, yankasa yanking kind. Mema miracles and trail there. Fuankasa for phone. Such generation require move your tech service you be. Take your time and read about each of the 12 candidates on the ballot paper. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will come on top. Guys, there was a time where people had to close down their businesses because they didn't have power. Trust me. And it wasn't because it was far-fetched getting power. It was because the government then was so broke that they couldn't afford gas to power the electricity. That is truth. That is real. That is real. You probably were 10 years, 12 years. So at that time, yes, you could see the lights were off, but you couldn't have felt it. But it happened. Listen, there were times that three batches of nurses and teachers were left at home without employment. Trust me, it happened in this country. There was a time, nurse for teacher for a year juma for almost about 12 months. Abayisi Miniska intimate you for 3 months. It happened in this country. So when we are going to take such a crucial decision about the future of our country, let's not take the decision with little information.
Okay.
You take a decision with complete information. And I can tell you, say, amongst all the 13 people who want to run as president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia have a clear-cut plan, an idea to create jobs on the back of what we have done. He has done 2.6 million jobs, but he can do 4 million jobs because a lot of the fundamentals that needed to be built in the past, now it has been built, so we can speed up the process.
This what I'll do, Miracles. So where your initial opening comments, mema okwaima obo bibia tofa in one. No, I don't know. One answer questions, Nina.
No, I think
I think betting, no,
and then the internet, the cost.
And the cost of data.
So the betting tax. You see, every moment.
In the subsequent questions, the answer
every moment, and the kind of taxes that are relevant to the times. Into on my way, we've had several taxes introduced, and several taxes are yet. There's nothing wrong with introducing taxes and withdrawing taxes. In fact, your bar, you try taxes will be one close about 21 taxes.
No, 17. First budget statement. No, 17.
Yeah, if you but along the line, we also introduced some. Why? Because Embrebiane Sika we here near Juma is already. And like I said, budget is revenue and expenditure. So you look at what you have to spend on and the kind of money you are looking for. If you can find that money from here, you don't need this one. So I guess, but there are times also you need the money. So you introduce new things. We have introduced taxes that lasted for a year in this country. We've introduced taxes that have lasted since 1996. Any idea? So at the moment, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has the view that e-levy has to go. And the reason is not because e-levy is a bad tax. At the time I introduced e-levy, it was very relevant. Because government, now yasa buying raise sikano. They short or minor. Into anything you bet to me free. You bet to me free e-levy. But then you know, one of the platforms or person they ma or minor konenim, especially in creating jobs for the youth, is digitalization. The intention is to create 1 million jobs in the digital space. Now what he's saying is some person creating 1 million jobs in digital space there. Mean to mean got taxes and space. Because some taxes and space in there, a bit defeats our purpose. So you see, it was relevant in the past. But based on the plan now, watch it for the future now. And who here be it was a year for you. It doesn't mean say sikana and kayi levi de beba no on here. But to say, men pe kwan for so. Na men fan kokoje sasikano. And that is why now he has introduced the tax reforms. Tax reforms do ye nyina say the doctor Bawumia ye nyina say nipa kakra bi na etua taxes. Fane say ye nipa be 400 but nipa 200 pay etua taxes. So if you need 200,000 from 200 people, obi abet you 1,000 cedis. But I say but there are some 200 people they are not paying the taxes. Ye mpe kwan bi ne yen for mo beka ho. No mo so mo tua taxes bi. Omo beka ho a he can now reduce it from 1,000 to 500, but still obenya 200,000 cedis no day or and that's what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is talking about. Oh yes sir, the advantage is that businesses no ehun be here yom kakra mo kombe ha mo kakra omo ha omo ne kofe mo a then they can have that freedom to be able to expand no ma fa yembebu na adwuma.
And I think the final one, a cost of data, because a lot of the youth will spend time on the internet. And
I think that let's be very fair to ourselves. You're a very liberal market. Very liberal market. I mean, government of Ghana doesn't determine prices for private sector, but there's a way to always engage. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I think, has said it. In fact, recently, he said it on one of the platforms. He's going to sit down with the telecom companies and let them understand. Listen, when the economy in here, mokra mo telecom sector no ka there, mo your biggest beneficiary when the economy no any and they thriving on digitalization. May your president,
Asempa FM.
the person you're driving your economy into the future with the fourth industrial revolution in mind, digitalization as the catalyst. Yampe ko mbisi reduce yen data ne kakra. Niama young CEOs na on Instagram, ne Snapchat, no mo your content creation here no enho entomo. That is one way that he said he would use to be able to appeal to private sector, the telecom companies to work on the data pricing. The second way is also competition. Today we have Starlink coming in. Starlink now may be a bit expensive, but it's because they are now introducing themselves into the country. Let's give them some few months to come. They'll start dropping their prices, and it's unlimited. Sometimes when you run the analysis, you realize that they don't cry better. And so as the competition is coming in, some of these telecom companies will have no choice. There was a time in Ghana, open SIM card that okra win be. Those times, so they be sa about the catch. Those times, so okra SIM card, you package SIM card to say, if they say okoto perfume. Then they are there for Ghana Telecom. Their head office was here. But today, where are we? SIM card is being sold by the roadside. So we'll get there. Trust me. Just like all other countries are almost driving digital agenda, bedroom baby, and data I have to say cheapest commodity. No, Ghana is almost there. Because we are going to get to the point where young people will begin to go directly to the satellite. And then the MTN, the telecells, the Tigos and co realize that actually we are losing out. And we have to begin to do something about it. The market itself will push them down, and it's just a matter of time. But in the interim,
I think I heard Bawumia also speak about the sale of spectrum to telcos, no? Because now spectrum is sold to them, and once you sell, now almost start your operations, and they have to recoup that initial investment. So if government can give the spectrum out to them for free, and insist that they bring down the cost of data, I think he also spoke about that.
Please be rest assured, say that would also be done. And for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, they trust him on the database because the plan of hinge on digitalization, and you can't win with digitalization if your data is high.
Okay, I'll come and ask you if you are convinced with answers are what, but let me hear from very good brother as well. Also areas I will consider I be determined to start with. What decide you will be able to abamano?
That is say
Union decide. Okay, but you have voted before.
Yes.
And this year, and won't decide 33 days to go to elections.
Yeah.
I will consider to decide eventually.
All right, so we see. As I was number chair for. I think sir, Ada has mentioned most of the concerns of the youth.
Okay.
May focus a bit on persons with disabilities.
Okay.
Yeah, so even though we are part of the youth, your peculiar needs when it comes to us as persons with disability.
Yes.
But before, no, me person, Miracles aboard with something. The credit scoring system will it come with interest. First one.
Okay.
And you perceive because if overmine that opportunity to spread the, in several months and then pay. That's a say interest. There was sort of chain at the end of Buona, then we wouldn't see the actual benefit of that. So I want him to help with that. I think he mentioned e-levy because Kambabe can was a what candidate because I think that is a major criticism leveled against Dr. Baumia, leveled against him. Say Obia who push the drive for digitization and then in your government, though you're not the president,
Asempa FM.
I mean, it's also a concern of the youth. Now to persons with disability. It was free tertiary for persons with disability. Listening to him. So I want Miracles to help me. First of all, is it for academic user fees and accommodation, everything? Because I know that there are some schools like UCC where a person with disability need more admissions. It comes automatically with accommodation.
Okay.
And I want to say UG, where the Office of Students with Special Needs now Center for Disability Studies and Advocacy would have to liaise with the various traditional halls to get accommodation
for you.
Us.
Okay.
Yes. In Tiano, Ubenya admission letter separate, and San was saying our hall fees separate. And I used to say Ubenya together because when you admission automatically when you
accommodation. Okay.
And how is it going to be? That is very important to us. Then I must say, people are benefiting from this digitization and the things Miracles has said here. Persons with disability, trust me, and I have to commend Doctor on that because, for instance, all the GPS address bar maybe the Uber and a bar, and so I benefited because I didn't see how straight. I didn't have to go anywhere. First, I just made to be so on San all those things we understand, and then the mobile money interoperability and all that. PW the alcohol bank, and there is no one to assist you and all that. So now you can be in your home and do those things.
All of that.
I mean, they are good, but it comes down to data and all that. Any other can because you can the data and the data and so be easy. Then after you are giving us education as persons with disability, so Obi, you say unemployment, the government has done well. Also, I created 2.6 million jobs. Miracles are explaining how they got that figure right now. But persons with disability, Obi, yes, we have a system. I know that we are part of the youth. But like I said earlier, we have peculiar needs. And my free tertiary. It means that you are looking at more people with disabilities. Say omunko school.
Yes.
And here school you know. You back the first class, second class, upper lower. Is there a plan to get us involved in those policies? For instance, I'll say OB training. I think 1 million youth right in digital.
Yes. Skills.
I mean, is that accessible such that a visually impaired person my speech now also know I can also partake in that training and because I'm speech or computer, so I can equally use the computer, maybe even better because there are persons with disability or more apps or more software developers. I can assure you they do so well once they have the needed software. And see how is it going to be so that very accessible for us as persons with disability, so to benefit from the employment. Then also will be on the employment, for Yaku school, I have been advocating for a quota system where, Abainsa offer 200,000 youth. Why can't we say, persons with disability 1% of that, so that we know that, persons with disability are also catered for, and there is, because trust me, you bet me for this 200,000 people, I be a young for person with disability. But if we make that conscious effort, and I'm happy say this time around we are not afterthoughts, and I must commend the leaders on that. I say like I'm a factor in their plans. They know that we are also stakeholders and important because we are part of decision making. It's that alone is commendable. However, miracles should help me
you
understand.
on that.
Yes, I mean.
Okay, I think those are really good questions.
We will take the last question first.
Okay.
So, offer Dr. Mahmoud Bamiyan manifesto, page 119, or a whole section for support to persons with disability and special needs.
Can you help me with a soft copy? Maybe
yes, I'll give you the soft copy as well. In fact, we have the Braille version.
Really?
Yeah, we have a Braille version.
Okay.
We have your Braille version of the
manifesto.
Yes, we are launching about a month ago.
Okay.
Into memo copy of that. Now, Obi, what kind page 119? Let's say all the support that Dr. Mahmoud Bamiyan intends to give it, and Obi, it's almost about 2 pages.
Okay.
On
PWDs.
I many Dr. Mahmoud Bamiyan tena demo manifesto way minimum from first page to last page. I will be trying to say Baba every line, and I can tell you say Dr. Mahmoud Bamiyan chiche manifesto way with love and with passion, with special focus on persons with disability and special needs. And when he speaks about these things, he speaks about them with passion. Obi, oko page 120, 7.5.1. One of the points, or say, continue to support businesses and enterprises owned by PWDs. When him say under the NEIP program, no, yeah, well, model back especially for persons with disability.
Okay.
Yeah, completely. And I know thousands of persons with disability who have benefited from that model. When is not?
Yeah.
And the North is one of the
Asempa
districts with
FM.
heavy presence with institutions and what persons with disability.
Sure.
Many visually impaired at that dormitory. Many more at now. They can do everything that we can do. Maybe senior back when Bobo slide.
Oh, okay. Oh, you just say.
You punish me. You know. But Obi, I say, set quota for recruitment of persons with disability for public sector recruitment. So you see the point you raised here, are resolved here.
All right.
Because we're indicating, or say, we will set quota for recruitment of persons with disability for public sector recruitment. Or say, provide incentives for employers who hire persons with disabilities.
Okay.
But I don't know why any specific quota in the manifesto, so we can hold him to
Obi,
it.
you see, these things, when you are going to do them, you need to first of all set the tone. When you set the tone, there are so many things that come with this. Legal frameworks, regulatory frameworks. So those things, you have to make sure that you are doing it and doing it right. Because you may understate the quota or overstate the quota. You understand? However, it is not the best in the interest of the person with disability. Okay. So the tone is set. The commitment is here. When he enters office, he's going to pick this and say, how do we do this? What is the situation at the moment? Do we make it 5%? Do we make it 6%? Do we make it 3%? After all, how many are they? At the moment, when we say our album of persons with disability. Oh, at the district level, we did an album for persons with disability across the country. And then you use who are the mass support through District Assembly Common Fund. And all the 261 assemblies have. And see, the commitment has been done here and set here for the persons with disability. I just wanted to just respond to that concern that they have. The second thing also is that the free tertiary for persons with disability are completely free.
Okay.
Free as in accommodation.
AFUF, RFUF.
Okay.
In addition to support for pockets. This is what the Vice President is saying.
Okay.
Me MC, 70% of me common fund for persons with disability. Me committing to paying scholarships and fees for persons with disability. I told you that me districts more be some of them free or because school until they family.
Yeah.
See, when your admission your friend is a winner, you must take care of them. And see, there are some friends of ours who are persons with disability or not going to go school. Disability is different. Yeah, it's true. Into be or call you EW. Maybe will be a machine or call you EW. Just only be co school.
Yeah, it's true.
Only be a co school.
Yeah.
Because on not the class near China there. Your son in same.
Yeah.
It's the lecture nekano. Nipa no need to want a car some channel.
Sure.
So what you say? Nipa ne kanti. You're born who can you say nipa no kan. This is maybe a family man. A family woman that government has to take care of. So what you say? Now Dr. Mahmoud Bamiyan say, "Bet your office in Inama, IFUF, AFUF. Now your ma district assembly now will free hono. Ede abai sika na dia mom so mo fan boa person disability no. Or the bia man na the bia pocket money. And that is how holistic it is. Don't forget say Dr. Bamiyan, he's not doing this in vacuum. He's doing this on the back of experience with the current arrangement. Currently, we have some form of scholarship running for persons with disabilities.
Yes.
We have it all.
Yes,
and that's why a lot of people don't know. We have it at the tertiary level. You are aware?
Yes.
Great. And it has challenges.
Obi knows I've been president of the
not a president of
exactly. So and that's something a lot of people are hearing for the first time.
And the government gives us bursary as well.
This government, I'm telling you, this government is doing that for persons with disability. It's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia free tertiary no kind on the back of experience in what we've been doing, I think since 2018, 2019 for persons with disability. We've been doing it since 2019 or so up to now. But what challenges? Some of the challenges, and they say we do it through the scholarship secretariat. In total, there be a disbursement in a check. You know the issues. So Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is thinking about redirecting all of these things through the common fund, which at least I know they say is sustainable, and that is the assurance we are giving to persons with disability. It is why persons with disability now would see me. Yes, not everything it is that we've done yet the best, but between you and the former president or some president, Emmanuel alternative in there, we are aware. Oh my men, we are aware. Say, young Kwani to me created that opportunity for persons with disability to also dream. Obi, we are building entrepreneurs with persons with disability. Trust me when I tell you that I have given equipment, tools, money, capital support for hundreds of persons with disabilities, and it's being done across the country. Now, not done quick for say or say a force, say yenye tabletop. When the former president was in office, to me accounted for support to persons with disability. They are not more this assembly and says can ba na finance officer na koyi. No they share envelope. About the 50 cities share envelope no achichama because say me boa. But today that has changed because you must submit a report to the Ministry for Local Government on what you have done with the persons with disability money with pictures. Me mom support in here. Yes, business no. So he should be very much rest assured. Now onye GDA say adena ya shase aye no. Ye na ya shase ye na sane ma we make acho na ye. Ye na ma person with disability and almost go you tua business mom. Ye na ma person with disability ko tesha ya you tua omo academic fees mom. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia say yes ye hu insuanye bebre fi dia ya start ni mu. Or GDA say it's time say we na holistic. They are making sure Christ will district assembly so be the best support. They should have confidence in
monthly. Yeah, minim say o questions no we yini nyina no tofa area.
Okay, credit scoring.
Yeah, no, but say interest
yes,
one.
Sure. Of course, once you hear credit, definitely will be interest. Now that's how credit scoring works. Okay. Like it works all over the world.
Okay.
So when nante ko obi oton fridge, that's how okoto fridge. And you no dey adem be mo no chia nkakrakra. Okay. Because the credit rating system, that system is available to all financial institutions. Until like it happens all over the world, you walk to the vendor, you say, I want this fridge. Then we buy Ghana card. Now pull with credit score. Now I click it. Now send you information. I'm at all financial institutions. Okay. And send them all the financial institutions now. No more determined. So you have 4, 5, 6 financial institutions making an offer. Okay. That will give. No one can say, okay, make 5 free, sir. Credit away now waji enti obetua benda ne come on
now wa fa de na de ko
now fe de wa
fa de nkaka
so the interest will be charged by the banks.
Yes. Okay. And now you see the point also is that banks interest rate Ghana and bebre na because of our lack of proper identification.
Risk level
high. The lower your risk, the lower your interest. The higher your risk, the higher your interest. And today that we have an integrated system database where your Ghana card is connected to everything, it's bringing the risk level down. And because of the credit rating system, the banks will know whether you're credit worthy or you are not
to even
receive your money, and that would affect the kind of
interest will
be also. So it is a big deal for us, not just from the employment side, but even for ensuring say Ghana for being access to basic things. Near marketing. Yen nuya ba ko betume to kwan fia no ko Europe 6 months time say makoto car adentia ontua cash enkawiu bo tua na kakrakra bo bi Ghana ha de just we save sa we save gina so that no bo okosoro into want to mean save money do that, and that is the difference the credit scoring system is bringing. Make sure everybody get access to basic things, increase the demand, which will mean that production will have to increase. Production increasing means that we have to create a lot more.
Very well. Now, Adase, or one more question. Adanti, for our question in the two join, then we'll read messages and open phone lines.
Okay.
Yes.
So the interest rates on loans that banks give out are very high. So I'd like to know what the vision of Dr. Bawumia is on the issue of interest rates, so that young people, like the young entrepreneurs, they can, start up businesses.
Yeah.
Yes. In addition to the credit score system that you already spoke about.
So like we even just mentioned just now. Say bank be bo besia. Na say ohwe wona so hu say one ubetumi scan a factor. Two ade na do kwakwa na viable nti ubenya scan if no wetua. Third, wono unwane mfiri hwehwe obe hu ni ade nyina affect the interest rate. But of course, Bank of Ghana also has a hand in ensuring say you betumi pushy interest rates a bit more lower. Truth is that in the past 4 years, from 2020 till now, economy has gone through a very difficult time. Very, very, very difficult times. No doubt about that. Because your bar moved first in 2017, the interest rate was very high. But we beating it down until COVID by our global economy core haywire near now. But you can clearly see that the economy is rebounding. A lot of things are improving in the economy. A lot of indicators are getting back to, if anything, positive. And see, you can be rest assured, say, once we stick to the path of rebounding, once we stick to the path of, getting back on track, these interest rates would go down a bit further for young business people to be able to access them without much challenge and difficulties. Because Vice President has given a clear-cut plan on how to manage our currency and how to manage our economy. I mean, that's another conversation we can go into. Spoken about how he's going to back the currency with gold, something that we haven't really done in the past. If you go to the UK, the reason why the UK currency is always strong is because they have one of the largest gold reserves you can find in the world. Now we have the gold under the earth. How do we get it out safely and use it to back our currency to strengthen? At the same time, how do we ensure that we're able to reduce our dependence on imports? You understand? Which would make sure that we are producing here and spending our money here and reducing our dependency on these the need for dollar and all of that, which affects our currency, which ultimately affects everything we do in this economy. And see, once you look at the comprehensive plan he has in dealing with the economy moving forward, and we succeed at that, we rest assured say we should have some
very well. Now, question Anna.
Yeah, we with a
final. Yes.
Yeah, with a quickly. My main family plebing for honorable miracles. And I confirm Dr. Bawumia.
Okay.
Yeah, be persons with disabilities. So they were buying, so you know some of these things. Sure. The costs of assistive devices will be annual.
And by assistive devices, they are there.
Hearing aids for the hearing impaired persons, white canes for wheelchairs near the cars be a person with disability to make the onsa use the brake and the crutches and everything.
Asempa FM
still manage and those things. Tax none what they see. I be do sana obi. I mean, depending to me into your best stress or better. Then obi finally. And the MPP and Persons with Disability Act, who are lawyer to make Act 715.
Yes.
Yeah, pass it, man, Baba Yamra. Obi is been how many years now? 2024, 2006, 2024.
Yes.
The law not anticipated by 10 years, tika 2016. Nanka Afri, enforce the law. Basically, nothing is being done about it, and so we'll plead. Say, Onya Pioneers again for 12 months or bar, on finding new share, and then. We are hoping
the implementation of the act.
The implementation of the act.
Okay, very important. It's interesting. It seems parties are very loud on that.
Yes.
Even though they have copious way about persons with disabilities, on the act, and I said there is some silence.
Yeah.
Miracles. My question to you on behalf of the youth of Ghana, and it's Dr. Bawumia is now the 7th vice president. And Nyomana youth they complaining about Nyoma happens this year. Why should we wait for a future Bawumia government and some resolve issues with Mama Yin?
Obi, we don't have to wait. And in 100,000 of young people are under Mahama school and he didn't wait. We don't have to wait. And in that teacher and a nurse for no more 12 months, 3 months, and no more 12 by 12 months. We are not waiting. He's done it. We don't have to wait. And nothing and pizza man chicken man be branches be and I hated to be brave and for opportunities we are not waiting. He's doing it. It's be no as a Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia wage I say we have to wait. But Yashisha Mrase 4 years or so. As I say by no dia be I saw the baby no before forever. So what I say Yashisha Mra say 4 years or so. dia wo ye bia say wo de be wie na ye kokoto so aba ina Dr. Mahmoud ba me ya friend say vice president say me hwe niam ya ye nyina be bia ba beduru ya samanfa me ne ensi fe no me ntumi ho ensi ho na de yetumi aye na ya successful no yam protect ya na ye jai ne kodi aban foforo nse ba ni nyina be say obi agenda one no be say no e be ka wo ho and me ka say be ka obi I'm very passionate about it. I'm not even playing and ya agro unim Eurojust project the health project Kofo project unim say 8 years NDC by no mo ntumi wie na na dan Kofo no aba be wie na 8 mpomo ntumi wie na 114 obi free senior high school. I can tell you that 6 months of John Mahama being in office, we'll be discussing the cancellation of free senior high school or means testing of free senior high school. What do you mean testing?
Means testing.
Means testing. They say, yeah, but ma say beka say we bet to ya. One want to meet you and mean you until the buy beka say, wow, fees we here no. Oba be school apply. Na ya say be ma wana yema obi. That will be the beginning of discrimination against the poor. Eho ina be ma hiafo enho akoka edwemu. And they have said it to Oma can publicly. We be na no aka say onji ni say e dey aban secretary Ghana ni bia ho school fees man ko secondary school. Enti sanyama we nyina ya at risk school. Ebiem obi adan na wo pese okoto.
Is it say you don't believe their consistent assurance they will rather improve some
they
of these policies?
They have been inconsistent. So why do we believe why did you get the word consistent from?
No, the fact that Mahama for some time now has been consistent. He would improve free SHS.
Where are you measuring the consistency from? Is it not the same Mahama that said that if he has 2 billion, he will invest it in free SHS?
But that was the launch of the manifesto.
So how are you using consistent for something that there is a contradiction in? Where are you measuring from? You are choosing where to measure
from the time of the manifesto.
Which manifesto?
NDC manifesto.
But that was a manifesto he was speaking to, or you forgotten? When they were doing free education, 419, it was a manifesto they were speaking to. When Felix Kwachofosu said free SHS is nothing but a scam, it doesn't make sense one bit. It was a manifesto they are speaking to. What is rather a challenge is their inconsistency. So stop using consistency. The fact that one person says this and the next day he says, do you know Unindeti and Mahama Eka free SHS and someone say obey free SHS? And yet because Afrobarometer report and all the surveys they've done show say Ghana for 85% or more say free SHS in there. Yeah, good. Obi, when I open my penny, now one only message, one won't never be anchor. Now I better say, way, I dear way near dear back home, be I say here and then I make Miss Media too. This is a man who has stood, who stood on a campaign platform and says about 2 million and truck a canal the film, no canal the film. So how are you using the word consistency? Now, let me even ask you this simple question. Say, and now you are crack at 9 years crumple, and our choice between dear or no dear number. Oh yeah. And they are not also on Jindi, no more afraid you also GD. Toma Bakwa better wine. They are not on Jindi now, afraid you also GD and say, oh, Toma, I may improve it. What to be that? Does it even make sense? Also, to tea the buy, you know. They are no yeah, no, the buy against all odds, against all the resistance. In fact, and this is for the PSHS crowd court. I buy the buy, you know, Mahama Yariga, and I buy court, all my buying for oil sika and your free SHS. Now the person comes and say, Toma me. Me buy me to me in the year send you the buy no. How does this make sense? And if free SHS in your meguno, me say Ghanaians would regret it if we vote for John Mahama in this election. Because the free senior high school, that is a baby to everybody. Open for microphone, fako tiptoe lane, nako kaishi. Na biso biya said, the entire better bomb me. I don't tell you say free SHS. Obi, and that thing is not in vacuum. It is because free SHS is changing lives. It is changing the lives of families and people. Obi me okwapeman school. Okwapeman bisane say assembly hall on the size say tie Obi. Me te exam score na me soon. Because me sua de no minima de no me be try ba ye be pamo me. Hey, Miss Robeza essay headmaster. Because headmaster they say me 2 fees now and I'm here student. Me nyam 2 fees. It Miss Robeza. Obi, that is how bad the situation is. Okwapeman school na me school. Now me art. So usually I am in class with the persons with disability. Sure. Normally art. Yeah. Obi, me class money be 46. Me 3. Now only say me yanso yentre enim ye 3 chi ko oti enim we John. Now boy oti class I oti enim. Guess what oti enim. Ti eti back corner. Na back corner na beza back class. I mean baby me dwan fi. Na me school fees ka. Me nye wu poto. Enti girl e friend girl me ntimi afa back mpo. E wo school ni. Ko dey be the school fees ka dey fa girl. So I just say enti na dey me ye pay between na. You say they almost the corn beef ne sardine near the bar. Every day come member when me nyame cat home. But without free senior high school, a lot of dreams would have been shut. A lot of people would have just gone off. And over 800,000 and between 2009 and